Welcome to another fantastic Auckland Conversations event. We're really excited to have you with us this evening, especially given the weather outside, so thank you for that. And those watching at home, I'm equally grateful you're with us tonight. A special welcome to our political leadership, Mr. Mayor Phil Goff, councilors, local board members, as well as our esteemed panelists, C40 Cities staff, guests from the World Resources Institute, and city staff from a dozen C40 cities around the world. And happy International Women's Day today as well, for a better, more inclusive, gender-equal world. Hi, my name is John Mauro, and I'm Auckland Council's Chief Sustainability Officer. And before we dive into things, buckle your seatbelts. We've got a high-profile panel this evening representing business, central government, local government, and civil society. We'll also hear from Mayor Phil Goff and Councillor Chris Darby. More about that in a bit, but before we take off, I'm the guy who does the pre-flight briefing. You can insert your Reese Darby joke here, I suppose. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an alarm will sound, and you will be ushered out of the building by our very capable ushers. Give a wave, ushers, so we know where you are. Excellent. There's some back there, some back there. Bathrooms are situated near the bar area, or perhaps more importantly for some, the bar is situated near the bathrooms out back. Auckland Conversations endeavors to ensure that these events are inclusive and accessible, so you'll actually see this up online a matter of a few days after this event, so look for that as well. You can turn all your mobile phones to silent. Look, I'll demonstrate that. There we go. And of course, the Twitter frenzy can begin this evening with, that's actually supremely silent when you tweet, so that's quite helpful. I will be ushering penalties for those who use phrases on Twitter like sad or bigly, so be aware of that as well. It's my shameful American roots. And you can use hashtag Auckland Conversations, which you might be seeing up on the screen quite soon. We'll try to take a few questions from Twitter during the Q&A, but you could actually also use your voice, so feel free to do that. So let's get our social media on, as I'm wont to do, and I'm going to take a fantastic picture of you. All right, ready to make our climate great again. Fantastic. So we will be acknowledging our sponsor. Thank you for the partner and partner sponsor, Resine. Also thanks to our program supporters, Brookfield's Lawyers, Boffa Miskell, Architectural Designers New Zealand, New Zealand Institute of Architects, New Zealand Planning Institute, and the New Zealand Green Building Council. Let's give them a hand for making this event and all Auckland Conversations possible. And now let's get down to business. A letter and a number. C40. What is this all about, and what could it mean for you and for Auckland? Well, C40 is a strategic network of leading cities, 90 cities to be exact, and their cities and their leaders act locally and collaboratively to have a meaningful impact on reducing greenhouse gas emissions and climate risks. These cities represent 25% of global GDP. They include London, New York, Paris, Tokyo, and a number of those are in the audience right now. C40 in this group of cities are smart, they're savvy, and they're serious. And to quote one of the panelists coming up, Councillor Penny Hulse, these are serious cities and who are serious about climate change. So, Auckland, what does C40 do, and how can it help us get where we want to go? Two basic things. One is we get free kit. Sorry to be so crude about it, folks, but we get free kit. We get technical assistance, research, data, best practice, benchmarking, and reporting. And this is stuff we don't have to reinvent. So we're getting this from them. It saves us the cost and the time of doing it ourselves. And of course, who doesn't like a little bit of competition? World-leading examples like this push the boundaries and motivate us, all of us. It's also an opportunity for us to tell our story on the global stage about how we're taking practical actions to reduce our impact on climate change and mitigate to it and adapt to its impacts. What do we want to be famous for? There we go. I figured out the slide situation. So let's step back and get this right. The value proposition actually is quite simple. It's not about climate and sustainability in the sort of abstract, airy-fairy sense. It's about being smarter about what's coming our way. It's about being more strategic about how we anticipate and respond to that. And it's being absolutely insistent that in many ways we don't actually have to make significant trade-offs if we're clever enough. More practically, it's not tangential to sticking to our knitting. It actually is our knitting. All this stuff that we're doing through these networks, transport, waste, water, urban planning, economic development, these are the functions of a successful city. There's also strong evidence that you, dear Aucklanders, broadly support and deeply value this, that there are co-benefits that are tangible, inevitable, and even irresistible. A survey of about 1,000 Aucklanders demonstrated about 70 to 80% want to focus on living a simple, healthy, sustainable lifestyle. And by almost all measures, Aucklanders are currently asking for more transport and more housing choice. like that. Furthermore, it's widely understood that not taking action to reduce and prepare for climate impacts may result in significant costs to council and ratepayers, putting us at significant risk now and into the future. So, what are we doing? Well, briefly, council and CCOs are building cycleways. We're reducing energy use. We're planting trees. We're procuring more sustainably. We're closing the loop on waste. We're regenerating urban areas. And hey, we're building CRL. I suspect that we'll hear a bit more about that from Mayor Goff in a few moments. But you can also check out our low-carbon Auckland implementation. It's in the back document, what we've been up to in the last 12 months. So where's business, besides being on this panel as well this evening? Many of business leaders are out front, taking and demonstrating action in climate and actually bringing their customers and their employees on the journey. They're helping to spur economic growth, they're driving down emissions, and they're bringing their customers these wide benefits. Even as populations grow, you don't have to pay attention to the words in that slide, but you're seeing a change in CO2 down, you're seeing a change in GDP up. Community groups are showcasing the power of the local. On Monday, we were hosted by Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei. We saw firsthand the inspiring host of renewable energy, zero waste, reforestation, sustainable housing design solutions. Pai Mahi, Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei. And central government, well, central government has made the ultimate commitment, joining the world in crafting, agreeing to, and ratifying the Paris Agreement. They might not have started the party, but now they are hosting. So what's the big deal? Not sure to break it to you here, but we're not quite there yet. This report that you see on the screen done by C40 and Arup concludes that the next 4 years in particular are paramount to ensuring that we're back on track to avoid dangerous climate change. Their research finds that C40 cities can deliver big emissions reductions, and if other cities follow suit, actions in our urban areas can deliver about 40% of the Paris Agreement. Almost half can be done locally. You can read more about this in the Auckland Sustainability Quarterly in the back as well. It focuses on cities and climate. We'll need still a collaborative approach, however, with all sectors, including central government, to meet our international commitments. But the power is in our hands locally to act now and to reap the rewards. So what's this report mean for Auckland? Well, again, sorry to break it to you, but it really means that per capita emissions must drop, and actually must drop quickly. We're among a small group of C40 cities that actually are steep decline cities. You'll see a red arrow that says that's our trajectory. We need to act right now and actually get to virtually no emissions by 2035. So what does that look like? Well, roughly, this is what I would propose. Why can't we simply commit to unchaining ourselves from physical and financial burden of auto ownership and car dependence? We could accelerate our promising collaboration with central government on the Auckland Transport Alignment Project. Why can't we consistently and indefinitely invest the vast majority in our transport capex into walking, cycling, and public transport? Why can't we simply commit to quality urban regeneration, density done well, and hold the line on sprawl? Can't we put the argument to bed for good that we just need to fix our housing supply issue with more land availability? And can we make every new council building a green building with great energy performance, on-site harvesting of water and solar and energy, zero waste to landfill? Why can't we work beyond our own portfolio to build homes that are healthy for our kids so no kid fails to be able to go to school because she's got asthma? And why can't we design with nature, phasing out traditional infrastructure, making innovative green infrastructure the only real way we treat stormwater, deal with coastal erosion, and adapt to climate change, all the while saving quite a bit of ratepayer money? And I guess, why can't we make our city more inclusive, more enjoyable, more playful, even more fun? Well, why can't we? I guess I haven't heard any reasons why yet. I'm sure they exist. But let's commit to a way of finding a bolder way of moving to get more ambitious, to get going on making it happen. I think our city, I think you all, and our future residents are depending on us to do exactly that. So let's dive in. The format for tonight is a discussion with our panelists. I'll introduce each of them, and in turn, we'll kind of give them an opening question. And we'll get the conversation started with some follow-ups, open floor, the floor to questions, et cetera. The goal here is actually that every single one of us leaves a tiny bit smarter and a tiny bit more engaged in this most critical issue. But before we get there, I'd like to bring Mayor Phil Goff to the stage. Can you give him a round of applause, please?